Okay, we're on day 18 notes. The topic for today is self-systems of linear and quadratic equations. So we've done linear, you did that in Algebra 1, just straight lines, and then quadratics is what this unit is all about. That's that parabola shape. So we're going to combine a line and a parabola and kind of see what kind of solutions they have. Before we do that, kind of just taking a moment and reviewing. There are maybe 4 or 5 review problems. I broke them down by topic, kind of going in order of what we did the last week or so. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. So if you don't know how to do one of these, pause the video, stop the video, rewind the video, or go back to that lesson and rewatch the long video. Okay, here I go. Topic 1, complex numbers, which means that I imaginary is in the solution. So simplified square root and negative 78. So how I did this is I went ahead and took out the negative, pulled out the -1, and then I proceeded to break down the 78. So what two numbers, you're thinking, what two numbers multiply to 78? And there's so many different options. What comes to my mind is 2 times 39. And then I keep bringing this down. What multiplies to 39? Okay, 3 times 13. Does anything multiply to 3 or does anything multiply to 13? That would help me out. In this case, no. However, the important part here is to remember that if you have a -1 underneath the square root, you're going to have an I in your answer. So the I is going to come out in front. The negative is taken care of. We just did the I, and then there were no matches with that tree, so I'm going to just have to leave it as the square root of 78. Topic 2, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing complex numbers. This first one here is a multiplying. We did all those different types, but this one is a multiplying. So this is the one where, and I'm going to write it on the side here, you FOIL. Okay, so first terms, 4 times 3 is 12. Outer terms, 4 times 7i is positive 28i. Inner terms, negative I times 3 is negative 3i. Last terms, negative I times 7i is negative 7i squared. Two things that we did here. Terms in the middle there where I underlined, those are like terms. They match up, so let's combine those. And the other thing is you have to know that I squared is equal, that's my equal sign there, wow, is equal to -1. Okay, so let's clean this up. So I have 12 in the front, oops, 12 in the front. I combine the middle terms that are like terms. I get positive 25i. And then I have -7, and instead of the I squared, I put a -1 there. I'm going to clean it up one more time, and I'm going to write it over here because I'm running out of space. So I have 12 plus 25i, and then -7 times -1 is a positive 7. And now what I have is this like term happening again, 12 plus the 7 is going to be 19, and then the plus 25i. Topic 3, solved by square root. So what we did here is we wanted to always make sure we were isolating that x squared term, so that yellow part. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get rid of the 3, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So I have x minus 4 quantity squared is now equal to 9. Once that yellow part is by itself, then I can take the square root of both sides. You cannot forget the plus or minus sign. When I put that square root in there, that plus or minus sign goes with it. So then I have x minus 4 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 9. This is a perfect square, so I'm going to put a star by it. This is a perfect square. Square root of 9 is just 3. So I'm going to kind of branch this over here for a second. I just have numbers, okay? So I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and I'm going to have x equals 4 plus 3, which is 7. And then I'm going to have x equals 4 minus 3, which is 1. And those are my two answers, and they actually worked out really nicely because they're just numbers. There's no i's, there's no roots. They're nice. Okay, number 4. Solve by completing the square. So what we did is we took this number that's by itself, that 72, we subtracted it to the other side. I'm going to work on the left side over here. So I'm going to have x squared minus 4x, and remember this is a weird one where I put the blank, and it equals -72, and I also put a blank on that side, right? It's like a teeter-totter. You want to make sure those match up. Okay, what we did from here is we took half of the middle term. So half of -12, oh my gosh, half of -4 is -2. I square it. negative 2 squared is actually a positive 4. I put that in both blanks. When I rewrite this, I'm going to have x, and then remember I do a shortcut, minus 2 squared. And again, it's not just I made that up. Those green negative 2's, those minus 2's match up, and it's going to equal negative 68 is what that comes to over on that side. And then it's kind of like the previous problem where I'm going to go ahead and take the square root of both sides. Don't forget your plus or minus symbol, and this will go away. So what I have is x minus 2 is equal to plus or minus the square root of negative 68. Well, two things. The negative means that I'm going to have an I, and then I'm going to break down 68. So what two numbers multiply to 68? There's a lot of different things, but what comes to my mind is 2 and 34. Then I break down 34. What two numbers multiply to 34? Well, I think of 2 and 17. And then I have a match. 17 doesn't break down anymore, so I'll just have to leave it like that. So I have, and I'm running out of space, I'm going to do two things here. Pause the video if you're confused, but I'm going to go ahead and also add the 2 to the other side. So I can write this all at once. So I have x equals, I move the 2 to the other side. Then I have the plus or minus. Then I have the 2 that's a match, the circled 2 that's a match that comes out, and the I. The 17 has to stay underneath. And that would be my final answer. A little bit messy, and I went a little bit fast, but that's my final answer. The last thing for the review is topic 5, the discriminant and solving by the quadratic formula. So what we did here is, before I kind of started this problem, I went ahead and I labeled A, B, and C. A is the yellow one, the number in front of x squared, that's 2. B is the blue one, the number kind of in the middle next to x, that's 4. And C is the number that's on the end there, which is negative 30 for this problem. So I'm going to go ahead and use my formula. You could just write it down on the top of your paper and use that each time. Make sure you're using the right formula. So x equals negative b, so negative 4, plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Okay, what we did here is we focus, and let me highlight. We focus on this yellow part, the underneath. And remember, I told you just to take a moment and kind of pause and type this into your phone, into your calculator or whatnot. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pause this just for a second. And I'm going to type this into my calculator. Hold on. Okay, so I took a second and I typed that yellow part into my calculator. I got 256. Okay, this is what we did with this in the notes. This number 256, that's your discriminant. That's D, discriminant. That's 256. Okay, if the discriminant is large, is greater than 0, kind of a positive number, then if it's positive, like 256, you have 2 real roots. So let me just keep it orange here. 2 real roots. So when I solve this in just a moment, I should have 2 actual answers, no imaginary in there. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of keep going here in this black pen to solve this down. Actually, we didn't talk about this one much, but the square root of 256 is a perfect square. The square root of 256 actually is perfect. It works out to 16. And then divided by 4. So I can break this apart. I'm going to have x equals negative 4 plus the 16 divided by 4. So negative 4 plus 16 is 12 divided by 4, that's 3. There's one of my real roots, and let's do the other one. Negative 4 and then the minus 16 divided by 4. On the top, I'm going to have negative 20. On the bottom, I'm going to have 4. And when I divide that, I get negative 5. And those are my 2 real roots, no imaginary in there. Okay, here's the kind of the newer part for the notes today. It says, remember, how many solutions can a system of linear equations have? This is what we did when we were back in school. There was 3 different scenarios. You could have 2 linear lines that, let's see, it looks something like this. We said that these were parallel to each other. We said that they never ever touch, so there's no solution. Or we had a situation where you had this linear line and, something like this, where they actually touch. Like, see right there where I put that black kind of circle dot there? They actually cross. That means there's one solution right where they touch. And the last case that we saw is if we had this red line, something like that, and then the blue line actually was, I'm going to try my best, was right on top of it. They were the same line. This is when we said infinitely many solutions. So kind of think back to that. We're going to have some similar situations. Now it says, imagine a system of equations where one of the equations is a parabola and the other is a line. So how many real solutions could this have? So let me show you some more pictures. So I'm going to have a parabola and I'm going to have a line. It could look, something like this. And if you look at that, this crosses and touches in two different spots. So this has two real solutions. I can actually see them where they cross. Or you could have a parabola and a line. I'm going to try my best here. It's very close. Looks something like this. And if you can imagine, it crosses. Whoop, why did it do that? It crosses one time or touches one time where I put that little circle. That is one real solution. Okay? Or you could have this situation where you have a parabola and you have a line and they're far away from each other. They don't touch at all. So this would be no solution, no real, I'm going to say real solution. Okay, so those are going to be our situations, and here's how we're going to solve them. So number one, you have two problems, or two equations. We're going to use them. So this first one at the bottom here says y equals -5. So I'm going to take that information and I'm going to plug it, substitute it in for y. So when I do that, I have -5 equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. So all I did is substituted it in. Then what I'm going to do here is set this equal to 0. So I'm going to move that 5 to the other side by adding it over. So this could be equal to 0. That'll be x squared minus 2x plus 2. Once you have it equal to 0, you can go ahead and solve this by any method. We know factoring, we know graphing, we know quadratic formula, we know solving by square roots. We know completing the square, lots of different methods. I'm going to go ahead and use quadratic formula because that's the one that works every single time. So A is 1, B is -2, and C is +2. And I'm going to write this over here. X equals -b, so -2 plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I'm going to clean this up. Those two negatives make me a positive. Underneath, and I'm focusing on underneath here like always, when I multiply those, and again, you can use your phone or whatever, I get -4. On the bottom, I get 2. Things to focus on. I need to focus on that negative sign. That's going to give me an I. And then the square root of 4 is a perfect square. So the square root of 4 is 2, and I have that I with it, and then I'd have a 2 on the bottom. If you can, and let me highlight, if you can reduce all of these green numbers, then go ahead and do it. So I have x equals 1 plus or minus 1i. And that has an imaginary, an I in it. So that means that these solutions are imaginary. So when I write my answer, I'm going to say no real solutions. There might be some imaginary ones, but we cannot see those. They're imaginary. Okay, so that's one of your situations. The next one, you're going to have